In Tony Bennett, we trust. Can we still say that? The transfer portal has been red hot, but nothing coming Virginia's way so far. We will break down the Cavalier roster tonight and the portal. Get your comments and questions ready as the Cavalier Connection is coming right at you right now. Welcome in tonight as I'm joined by Jay and Jack for an opinion-packed episode of the Cavalier Connection. Had a little technical difficulties already early, but Jay, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's great to have the band back together. I feel like, it's the first time we've all been together in quite a little bit. So excited to chop it up.
Nice. Jack, what's up?
I'm doing just fine. Glad to have the whole family back together here and at the house. And also, this is my first time seeing that new little intro there. And it quite surprised me seeing little 13-year-old me over there standing by George Welsh's statue, and also a video of Florida State rushing the field against Florida State 2019. So it brings back some great football memories. I wish we could get back to that soon, but doing great.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I have a new segment we need to introduce, and that is instead of Where's Waldo, Where's Jack? Every week we don't know where Jack is at, where he's going to be. Hey, how's it going, Elton? Between baseball umpiring, out at Virginia Beach, out at the Tides game.
I'm everywhere.
Senior year.
Have you been hit with the water yet, Jack?
It's over.
I didn't get hit by the water, but I didn't get my opponent hit by the water in time. So
that's
right. Hey, at least I didn't go viral for getting caught by the water. but yeah, I'm everywhere, man. You can't ever know where I am. I'm somewhere in the state of Virginia.
If you see Jack out, snap a picture and post it. Tag the Cavalier Connection.
Tag the location. Because, I mean, it could be Virginia Beach, it could be Norfolk, it could be Newport, it could be anywhere. So
yeah, anywhere in the 757.
Yeah, no doubt. And I can tell you, I'm thrilled to be here tonight. I've spent the last 8 days on a couch.
He's a trooper
in CHKD Hospital every night. So happy to be home. We had a little surgery for the youngest, and all went well. So that was good. And we're back. Cavalier Connection. A little nervous. We got out the hospital today. I didn't know if I'd be here tonight or not. So happy to be here. We're going to get started. Basketball transfer portal. We always say in Bennett we trust, and we know when it's all said and done, there's going to be some transfer portals hits for us. We're going to get some guys, but since the season ended, we've been waiting and waiting. We were waiting for guys to enter the portal. We were waiting for guys to, one thing about Tony Bennett, it seems like every year he's getting guys out of the portal pretty quick. This year's not been the case. There's four scholarships sitting out there, 2 who have left from the portal. Well, we lost Bond and we lost Harris. So, we've had visitors. We've had some cancel. We've had some academic issues. You name it, it's happened to us. Jay, what's your thoughts?
It's really frustrating to just keep waiting and waiting. I don't know if you guys saw the little thing I put up on X.
Yeah, that was great. We know how Jay's going to age now. Please go to X. Go to our page and just look at the video of Jay Ballard, which when I first saw him, I didn't recognize that kid. It was a fat faced kid, and next thing you know, here comes the gray hair kicks in, and you know,
The Jay
end
we
of
all know
life.
and love.
I felt like I looked like a silver fox for about a minute, and then it got all wrinkly on me. But
End of life Jay appears, waiting on Bennett, waiting on the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I guess. Let me try to get this camera back in focus. The frustrating one for me, I guess, the most frustrating is Amos, Xavier Amos from I think it was Illinois, Chicago, because by all accounts, you know, he was the guy. He was ready to commit. You know, he was pretty much it was Virginia or bust. It reminds me of the Santa Claus movie.
Yeah, me too.
She's pretty accurate.
I thought about that.
Yeah, that is pretty good. But you know, when the university doesn't let you in because of transfer credits or grades or whatever it was, you know, we'll never know. And then he goes to Wisconsin, which is another high academic institution. So I don't understand necessarily, you know, what the problem was there. But he was a big 6'8" guy who, you know, we could use. I was debating with somebody on X about if we just went into the season with the current roster, how many wins would we get? And I see 12, maybe 10 to 14 is the window I gave with the current roster as is, not getting anybody. Now, like you said, Jeff, we're going to get some people, you know, but the question is, who are we going to get? There's a kid out there right now, Del
Orso. Yeah.
Del Orso.
Yep.
He was a 20-point a game scorer. By all accounts, he's very highly rated in the transfer portal. He would be a great get because we need some offense. I mean, we have to have some offense. I saw today that Florida State's point guard that started, you know, 2/3 or all but one of their games, I think, was visiting, which he's a good defensive player, but you look at his shooting stats and it's like, how are we going to score? Like, we need somebody that's going to put the ball in the hole, and we need some bigs. We just don't have any bigs at all. So we're still waiting on Perry. There's a lot of optimism. Still, you know, we posted that poll on Twitter, and I want to thank all. That was by far the most votes we've had in a Twitter poll. It was 650, I think, ish, you know. And it's pretty much like, what's your worry level, you know, as far as where we're at right now with the roster and where we're going into the season. And a huge portion of the fan base is extremely concerned. And then you have your some that are reaching out, well, you don't know, you know, we could still get Perry. And we could get Perry while we're recording this, you know, but the likelihood is he's going to USC or UCLA or one of those schools in California. You know, if mama and dad want you to play close to home, you know, you may end up playing close to home. And that's the rumor. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not the insider, but when I read rumors, typically there's some fire to that smoke. So I think Perry's out. We have to get the Mallory kid from Stab, you know. We got to get him. You know, but he won't help us next year. So it's like I'm getting highly concerned for next year's roster. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, it's just we can't catch a break. It almost seems like it's guy after guy that's not getting through. So I've been trying my best to keep up with it. It's a lot going on. Same with football. Is you've got posts left and right on X, whether they're coming, whether they're not, where they're going. It's been moving all over the place. But I agree, we need offense. It was shown last season. We need offense badly to complement IMAX, take some pressure off of his shoulders, some weight off of his shoulders. Just a shooter in general. Let's go out there and get a guy who can shoot the three consistently. You kick it to him in the corner, you're not worried. Is it going to go in? It's going to go in. Let's get a shooter. But I will say that I think, and we will get those guys. You said it best. We will be getting guys. Now, whether they're great or not, that's a different story. We will get guys in the transfer portal. I saw a post the other day how there's hundreds of kids still in the portal, so we just got to be patient. But no matter what, kind of shading towards the title of this live stream tonight, no matter what. And Bennett, I will trust, because the amount of times that if we aren't going to trust in him in the middle of the season after a loss, we always come back to it after a big win. Man, we just got to keep trusting in Bennett. And Bennett, I trust. And Bennett, we trust. This team will be competitive in ACC play next season, no matter how this goes.
A few things, Trent Perry, I think if he was coming, he would have already committed, I believe. How long has it been? 2 weeks since his visit, at least?
Something like that.
It's been 2 weeks because he was at UVA, I want to say the weekend of the spring game, or was it just slightly after? I want to say it was
around that time.
Game.
So losing Amos was a big one. With they say the credits aren't transferring or something, and he's a sports management major. And then there's is that what I think is Del Orso a sportsman? One of these others that
I didn't see Del Orso's major, but
one of these others is a sports management major too. So the question is this person's transfer is going to credit, or a class is going to transfer? We also have Elijah Sanders visiting. He's out of San Diego State. I think he's coming maybe this weekend. 6'8".
Actually, he's coming Sunday and Monday. He's visiting Washington Friday and Saturday. Us Sunday and Monday, and then Clemson on Tuesday, Wednesday. So
and then I was gonna say, then you got TJ Powers, who was highly recruited by Virginia in the portal, and there's no mention of Virginia with TJ.
I don't
Powers.
understand that one either. We were in on him.
We were runner up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We were runner
up. There's no mention, but again, another debate I got into with somebody on X, and they said, well, that list wasn't all inclusive, and they knew someone or had some inside information that they were talking to him. So I have, I don't have that information. So I hope they are. It's like I told anybody who wants to tell me we're going to get somebody or we have a chance, I hope you're right.
Yes.
Because this is getting ridiculous.
So we're going to get some people because the portal just closed yesterday, and the dominoes are going to fall, and these scholarships are going to get filled. Like, they're not just going to go to waste.
The
question is, what are we going to fill them with?
What kind of standard?
So let's go to Del Orso, just for example. And I'm definitely all in because it's the unknown. He's almost a 20-point a game scorer. We know we need scoring.
And he's got 2 years left.
But let me get a big but in here, though. Rhodey. Okay. All right. Similar. 6'6". Both of them are 6'6". Rhodey was a scorer at a smaller school. I know Campbell, probably similar in size. What is Del Orso going to do in the ACC in a Power 5 conference? Is that going to translate? Is the question, because Rhodey didn't. And then another thing, we look at the roster as it's constructed now. Is there any benefit to a whole year? They played a whole year, and potentially Bennett, developing guys. I just don't know.
Well, you better hope Buchanan hits the weight room hard. Like, he needs to. He needs to look different when the year starts. Now, the kid Anthony Robinson, who redshirted, like, you could tell he had been in the weight room. That man, he looks like he's ready to contribute in a big way at the D1 level. Now, I've never seen him play, but physically, he is an ACC, big man. He's a 4. I don't know if he's a 5, but he's going to play the 5 for us. I can tell you that, unless we, pick up somebody that we're not being linked to right now. But you've got it. In a dream scenario, I think they could have gotten the kid from St. Mary's, the shooter,
St. Mary's,
and then Amos and the other 6'8" kid that and then we would have added a shooter, shooting guard that can score with 2 wings that could score, that both had good size, and then you're in good shape. and there's still some players out there that can fit that mold. So, it's like Tony has earned the right. He's earned our trust. However, this is not 2016, 2012, 2019. NIL has changed the game. And it doesn't matter. Like, you can be a great recruiter, you can be a great person, but Jeff, if you're a great person and you go and say, "Hey, I got a great opportunity playing time in the ACC major program," and I go to them from some other school, whether I'm comparable or not in the game, and say, "I'll give you $150,000 cash," which one are you going to go to?
Right.
Like, I mean, there's a lot of kids that aren't going to see the long-term value that, even though Virginia still has, don't get me wrong, I don't look at the institution like a lot of people. That Virginia degree still means something. And those lifelong contacts, like, yeah, you might get more money up front from another school, but when you have a Virginia degree, like, you're set for life in a lot of ways. But I don't think kids see it that way. So,
no. And then you have also the other factor. So you have NIL, you have the money, and then a kid, you put, say Virginia's offered $150,000 and North Carolina's offered $150,000, and at North Carolina you're free on offense to go and get your shot, run.
Yeah.
And in Virginia, you're going to be in a system that does not want to doesn't give us much freedom on the offensive side. So, and I know I texted you earlier in the week, Jay, and I can't recall the recruit for 25 that Bennett. There was a story, I believe, it was on Cav Corner, that he just was recapping his visit to Virginia.
Oh yeah, it was Dixon, shooting guard, Dixon.
Yeah. And the one thing that stood out to me was him talking about how Bennett and the coaching staff saying they know they have to change their offense and they're willing to change. The verbiage was, we're willing to change and we're going to give more freedom and that kind of stuff. And that's great to hear. I did tell you I love Tony Bennett. I'm gonna believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. And we're gonna have to see it this year, because especially with what hasn't come in yet, at least, you got your Gertrudes of the world who it looks like he's going to be getting a lot of playing time. Well, that's a guy that you're not running plays to shoot threes with.
No.
That's a guy you get the ball up the court and he's going to the rack, drawing a foul, getting a dunk, shooting a layup. So,
can you play fast and still play good defense? Like, well, I think don't know. Are they married to each other, or can you play really good defense and still play fast?
At least have a little more pace to the game. I think that North Carolina, I thought this year, they always play with pace, but they play defense too. Like, okay, we're going to give up some. Like, I get it, especially in Bennett's earlier years, when you don't have the talent, you muck the game up and that's what gets you competitive. But once you get some talent in there, just take advantage of some of that athleticism. And I'm using Gertrude as an example, but I'll believe it when I see it. I hope to see it, because I believe Virginia's willing to spend NIL money. We were ranked number in the top 15 of NIL money in the country. Right. So if we're ranked that high, I think Virginia's willing to spend the money. So they have to be married to each other. The money, being willing to spend the money and adapting to 2024 basketball. But I have some thoughts on transfer portal and something that so tomorrow night I'll be hosting. We'll be doing the ACC huddle live at 9:00. And I'm going to be discussing the basketball transfer portal in the ACC. And I have some thoughts on, I don't know. I don't want to be called Mike Greenberg, because, Mike Greenberg comes out with some crazy ideas. But I have a crazy idea. I'll throw out there tomorrow night. You got to tune in to hear it. Of maybe some solutions to the transfer portal. Some compromise. We'll say some compromise. Because the transfer portal is wild, and tomorrow night you'll see, just tomorrow night, the amount of transfers. And when I was researching for this episode tomorrow night, I'm like, I didn't realize the number of transfers, number of players in the transfer portal just in the ACC. It is unreal.
I think Louisville lost their entire roster.
13 players, Jay.
Yeah,
13 players. Like, that is crazy. And so, just several years ago, there's a little bit of panic with Tony Bennett, guys, Abdul Rahim. I'm just, there's been so many, but it's all over the country. And then this season, Virginia's only got two. And look, man, I'm a Virginia basketball fan. I'm a Virginia fan. I pull for these guys. They do bad. They do bad on the floor. I'm still pulling for them. I want them to do well. I want them to prove me wrong. However, when portal time was coming, I was hoping, a little bit of hope, that there was more entering the portal than two. Because I thought,
are we naming names, or do we do? We don't even need to name names.
I'm not naming names.
I got a couple names in my head that he's thinking about, but
I'm not naming names. However, now it might be good they're not entering, because I don't know if we fill the spots.
Well, but Jeff, yes, we're better off addition by subtraction.
But I thought we were going to have maybe 5 spots or so available, and instead,
Jack says he's an incoming freshman. He can take one of them scholarships and be just as productive.
Oh, if Jack I'm out there too at 45. but yeah, it's really unbelievable. And tomorrow night, I'm gonna break down the transfer portal in the ACC and all the schools and who's leaving and who's coming and who's going. And really, tomorrow night at 9:00, by the end of the episode, it's a possibility there's some more incoming portal pickups before we get off the air. There won't be any new entering the portal.
Congrats to Coach Mox. She's landed 3 at least. Dumbaya, I don't know if I'm saying that name right, from Maryland. You had the girl from she was 6'7". I mean, big time recruit. Didn't play a lot of her freshman year, but lots of potential, obviously. And then the girl from Carolina yesterday, I don't have any of these names in front of me, so I'm not going to try it. But, another full of talent young lady who's coming in from North Carolina. And then we had a transfer, I believe, from Miami?
I think
that
so.
is also coming in. So another big post player for the women. So they're loading up and getting some talent to go with we got Hurd coming in, who is she's not Kymora level recruit, but solid big time recruit to go with what we got. So I think Coach Mox just continues to build. And I think that's some of the frustration with the fan base is like, come on, like Coach Mox is landing these people.
Right.
Come on, Coach. Like, Tony, you're better than this. Like, we expect more. Therefore, when we get nothing, it's a lot of disappointment. So I just want to see one person commit. Just one.
I agree.
Just one.
I agree. Yep. No doubt. Coach Mox has been rolling, and Coach Mox is going to be, looks like she's going to be Debbie Ryan 2.0.
Yeah.
The ladies basketball, there's, Virginia Tech was rolling, and then, Coach is out, went to Kentucky, and took some players with him. And Virginia's on the up and up, moving on up. So we'll see how that one turns out. But
at the end of the day, in Bennett we trust. I'm still going to stand by that statement, because it seemed throughout this last regular season, whenever we'd be down about Bennett, the next week or the next game, he'd pull off the team would pull off some insane great victory. It's like, okay, we got to remember next time they're in a losing spot, and Bennett we still trust. So I'm going to stick with it. And Bennett we trust. He will have this team competitive in ACC play next season.
Yep. So from Elton,
Well,
Trent
Jack,
Perry follows
I'm
Kymora
with you. I
Johnson.
hope you're right.
Elton also said that he follows, I think, all of our men's basketball team, Kymora, incoming freshman Coffee or Kofi. I'm not sure how that's pronounced.
Yeah, Jacob.
And then
Yeah.
also a member of the softball team. So yeah, I mean, I think she liked how you put that, Jack.
Thank you.
Well said. But yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah, but I hope Elton's right. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of belief.
All
He's
right.
earned it, but we got to see it. We got to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Well, let's move on. So, we had a little negative talk with the basketball portal, but football, good God. Coach Elliott has been rolling between transfer portal gets and
Recruiting.
2025 recruiting. Holy cow, man. Are we in the top 20 in recruiting
He's
class,
got the
right? For
program
25?
moving in the right direction. He's got
Yeah,
the
I'd
program
have to
moving
see
in
the
the right
rankings,
direction.
Jeff, but we were in the top 25 before we signed like the last five guys.
Oh yeah, we were like at least 24, 23, something like that. At the worst, we might be higher now. But man,
Today we got hopefully our
uh,
quarterback for the future.
Yep. After Calandria's senior day, when he's up there for the Heisman rankings and his senior day against Virginia Tech or whoever he's playing on his senior day, the feature.
No, we just got
that were recruited by like Tennessee,
Jurgensen.
Virginia Tech, Michigan. And I've reached out to them, both of the linebacker recruits, and touched base with them. And I'm pretty confident, I've already confirmed we can get one of the young men. I don't want to drop names until, we have an official date and time, but already touched base with several of the recruits, and I feel like we'll be having them on the show probably in the not too distant future. It's all about timing because there's a lot going on right now in their lives with high school graduations and, a lot of people reaching out with requests and things like that. But yeah, I mean, Coach Elliott's just killing it. This is what scares me, though. Can I bring up something that, I'm a worrier when it comes to the team. I'm probably the most pessimistic of us three. If this year doesn't go well record-wise, and it doesn't even matter how they look, how they play, if the record isn't good, will we be able to reap all these benefits, or will the administration get impatient and make a move and then just derail all this positive momentum? Because it takes a while to build a program.
Yes. So I'll say, first of all, it depends. Are you talking like no wins? Are you talking 3 wins?
No, I'm talking like 3-9 again.
3-9 again. I mean, I can see why there'd be talks of it. I mean, this is going to be year 3 for him, and he's still only putting up 3 wins. But I'd say no. I'd say, like you just said, it takes a while to build a program. I wouldn't even count the first year because we all know what happened and how he didn't even get a real recruiting class in that year. This is truly his first recruiting class, as you said, Jay, in a previous episode sometime. He's been killing it thus far in a class of 25 and class of 24 too. He did just fine, I thought. And the transfer portal too. He's bringing in these big names. So obviously there's also a difference between if you can recruit and if you can coach. You can bring in all the recruits you want, but if you can't coach them, then, well, we got to make a change. But I mean, I think you got to give him at least this year. Now, if he wins no games, there might be a little talk because
if you're
winning 0 games, that's I got to tell you, we might just have to force a hand into it. But if he wins 3 games, and I expect better. I expect better than 3 wins. I expect a bowl appearance, honestly. But say he gets 3 wins, I'd say we give him a little more time, at least another season, see what they have to say. But I'd say that.
I think Carla Williams is the athletic director, and how she's handled business, I don't see any way he's going to be out after this season, unless like an 0-12 season.
Yeah,
I don't see Virginia's over under is what, 4.5, Jay?
Yep,
right?
4.5.
4.5. And, you know, and that's I think that was 24/7 Sports that had them at a 4.5, or Sporting News or something like that. And you know, these are national syndications, or whatever you call them. Publications, thank you. And you know, they don't follow Virginia football like we do. I know Jackie, who we had on, you know, probably a month or two ago, she's Virginia with 24/7 Sports. But the national publication who's making these over-unders and predictions, they don't follow Virginia sports. If you look at they had the ACC quarterback rankings, and they had Calandria, I guess you call it the combination of Calandria and Musket ranked like, probably, I don't recall what it was. Maybe
it was last, wasn't it?
They were 10.
10. I've seen as low as 14. And
I've seen lower, yeah.
I don't know how you can watch those guys play, especially Calandria, as a true freshman, to come out and watch the way he played. And yes, he was he gave the ball away, but also, my God, I mean, he was just an athlete making plays out there. And one full year, you know, in the offense and maturing a little bit, how you could rank a guy that low is crazy to me. But you know, things hinge on quarterback play. So, you know, Virginia's picked last in the ACC, and Calandria is ranked wherever him and Musket are ranked. And so I just think that's just national media who doesn't watch Virginia football. They just go off of our final record last year. And maybe this is me rose-colored glasses, but that's why I know I and Jay, for sure, we picked over 4.5 wins, because I think we can get those. I think we can get 4 or 5, and we better, if we're going to get over, to start the season.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it's something to be excited about, that quarterback room. And in a later episode, we're definitely we want to break down the Musket versus Calandria quarterback battle, because I think that's going to be a battle all the way to the start of things.
I could see that going into game week, and Coach Elliott saying you're not going to know who starts until they run out on the field for the first drive.
Oh yeah.
That type of secretism around the decision. But you know, we addressed another big need with the team. Was it yesterday or today? It all kind of runs together.
Yes, the offensive line.
Yeah, the offensive lineman out of Dartmouth. You know, he's a monster of a man. 2 years of eligibility left. Last name was Sipe, I believe.
Yes, Ethan Sipe.
Yeah, you know, a starter for Dartmouth. But when I went on his X profile and checked him out. He had a lot of really strong offers, including, I mean, like, now when I say Notre Dame, that was as a preferred walk-on, not as a scholarship. But Notre Dame wanted him to come as a preferred walk-on. And then he had scholarship offers from Old Dominion, Western Kentucky. I think App State might have been on that list. Don't quote me on App State, but definitely ODU and Western Kentucky. There's some other, you know, pretty good football schools. And so, you know, I didn't realize, and maybe you guys knew this, that I knew Metcalf was hurt, but apparently it's an Achilles, and he may come back. He may not be back until, if he's lucky, the end of the season, towards middle part of the season. So they did say, because he's an offensive lineman, obviously the side to side and stuff like that is not quite as important as somebody who's going to be, you know, really mobile. But that was a big loss for the O-line, because I think he would have helped. But you still, you know, you got Boley and Stevens and Josie and
I think the offensive line would be just fine.
I think the offensive line that is being looked at as a weakness is going to be a strength. I really like this team.
I really, no, you're not wrong. I mean, especially at the end of last year when we got that run game going with that offensive line, that was outstanding. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
and you've got all the weapons, and we haven't mentioned it yet, but shout out to Malik Washington. The Dolphins just got a steal. I can't believe that man fell to the 6th round.
Crazy.
I don't know how you pass on that guy so much, like so many teams, but it's a perfect landing spot because he can learn from Tyreek and Waddle, and then when he does get on the field, who's going to worry about him?
Right.
And they should. They're gonna learn. They're gonna learn quick, I think. But anyway, congrats to him.
You saying as the fantasy master you're saying that I should be picking up Malik Washington in my next fantasy draft?
Yeah, go right ahead.
In a dynasty league, sure. Maybe not redraft.
But you add the receiving core that we added in this offseason. We just lost one today to the portal.
Yeah, Delaney Crawford.
I saw.
Yes. But I mean, I don't blame him one bit. The receiving room is so deep. You add Tyler Neville, who can do everything. This team offensively, I expect them to score. They scored last year. They were able to score last year. Coach Elliott's first season, offense looked terrible, just terrible. But as he was able to develop his players and get, some guys in, Brennan Armstrong wasn't the man for the job with Coach Elliott. But you throw, I think Musket did outstanding when he was in there. And then you get Calandre out there as a true freshman. And now you add the receivers in the portal that we added. That offense, I really expect this offense to score. And I think the defense is going to be just fine as well. So it should be, it's just a tough schedule. It's a tough schedule.
It really is.
Schedule. But it could break down, there's a couple games that are definitely going to be tough no matter how you slice it. But, is Pitt going to really be a tough game? I mean, it could be, but is it for sure at Pitt? Is that a tough game? No. Is SMU at home in November a tough game? I mean, it could be. But think about this with SMU.
It's winnable.
It's definitely winnable. They're going to be a team that has not played in a Power 5 conference before, and it's going to be November. So they're going to be beat up.
Right.
All teams are beat up in November, but do they have the depth to maintain at the Power 5 level? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. We'll find out. Is Maryland without Tua's brother?
Right.
How good are they going to be? Their over-under is like 6.5, but they, are they really that good? Because they barely won more than that with him. So,
and we took him to the wire with him.
We really did.
Yeah, that game was we were up 14-0 in the first half, and then, 21-14 trailing going to the fourth, lose 42-14 because of, just some stupid
freshman
stuff in the fourth quarter. But I mean, so Virginia Tech and at Clemson are both games that no matter how you slice it, you just know they're going to be tough. But other than that,
Clemson too, don't we?
I'm sorry,
but we got Clemson too, don't we?
That's what I said. At Clemson and at Virginia Tech.
Oh, you just said that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Those two.
Is it next year we have Notre Dame, or is it the year after? I keep getting
and Notre Dame. You're right. At Notre Dame.
I thought it was.
So those three, no matter
those three right there,
they're going to be tough.
Yeah. But, I mean, other than that, I think when you look at the schedule, every other game is, and we don't know yet, the season isn't even close here, but every other game is at least winnable. And even the Virginia Tech game, I'd say, I'd hope it'd be at least winnable. Clemson and Notre Dame, that might be tough, but Clemson's kind of been on the downfall. We'll see where they are at that point of the season. Notre Dame, I mean, they seem to have a history of playing down to their opponents, so, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I could be talking completely out of my mind right now, but I think,
but if you're undefeated every game to Clemson,
yeah, that you have all that momentum with you. Yeah. I mean, it's a real thing, and I think every single game on that schedule UVA can look at, and it's a game that, okay, if we make all the right plays, we don't make any stupid decisions, they can potentially be winnable. And I know my dad's laughing because he completely disagrees, but
no, I think Virginia's gonna be competitive. There's gonna be some games that it's gonna be tough. It's just tough, but I'm excited for the season. Jay, you had a nice
I'm-
post on X with your little video of just let the fall come or whatever you said there. I
Yeah.
enjoyed your
Can
little
we just
video
get to
there.
August?
Can we get to
I could
August?
not be more excited for the football season this year. Especially, man, all these returners and all this transfer portal stuff. It's going to be a fun. I hope it's going to be a fun fall to watch some UVA football, but we'll see.
I really hope that we come out against Richmond and just blow the brakes off of them.
Kill them.
Like
Kill
old
them.
school,
60 plus.
Like, I was gonna say old school, like 59 to 7 or something.
I mean, even the last few years, like when we played Richmond the year of the tragedy, I mean, we didn't really play that, or was it William and Mary? I think it was Richmond. We did not play that impressive. You could tell from the start, like, I'm not sure about this team. We beat them by a lot, but I mean, we only ended up being up by 2 possessions most of the game. Like, I want to
Which
kill
game was
them.
this?
I don't.
Which one?
The year of the tragedy, the opening week.
Oh,
I think it was
Elliott's first game.
Yes,
Yeah.
Elliott's first game. I think it was Richmond. If not, it was William and Mary. One or the other. One of the games that we should kill them. And I mean, we were beating them, but it won't nothing special. Nothing that proved to us why that team would be good.
Well,
Right.
we
I just
kind of
wanna
learned after now it's all said and done. We just weren't very good.
Right.
And,
That was a bad
Yeah,
year.
but that's
We just
that's
did-
what I'm saying. If we start out hot and beat them by 50 to 60 points, that gives you a little more hope.
We
And
need
then
to announce our
you go
president
in-
with authority.
Yes, and you get to the next week, you got a little momentum with you, and you have the chance to do something special.
I don't
might have
think
to wake up at 5 a.m. and head down to Wake Forest and like the old
Hey.
school days.
Yeah.
I'm always up for the trip.
I don't think Coach Elliott is a stomp a mud hole in somebody type of person. I think he's got he'll pull the dogs off before we win by 60.
Hey, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
Run it up.
Just let's send a message. Send a message.
Run it up.
Well, send a message to Richmond. I don't know what that's going to do, but it might. I do want to win, but I do
Send
want
a
to
message to the rest of the ACC.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to scare them so much. We need to send a message to a ACC opponent.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we move on, real quick, I did want to mention if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely pop into the comment section, ask us a question, give us a comment, like the show, subscribe. We need the subscribers on YouTube. We'd love to have you guys. So moving on, I did want to, it's time for our Spotlight Athlete of the Week. And this week was kind of easy for us. It was given to me because it was we're going to pull her up here. Kymora Johnson. Kymora Johnson, she just won the freshman who had the greatest impact on their team in the first season of competition in Charlottesville. And she was huge. And for the season, she finished averaging 15.3 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, and 5.4 assists. And also, I just want to mention, I know that's 15.3. I think she started the year, maybe the first, third of the season at probably like 12 a game. But the back 2/3 of the season, I'm pretty sure she was closer to like 19 points a game. As a true freshman, she's the foundation of this ladies basketball team, and everything that Coach Mox is doing and all these recruits that she's bringing in. And to have Kymora on the team, I just see, going back to the days when Jay and I were young, the old Debbie Ryan and Dawn Staley days, when Virginia was like, we joke about we didn't think we'd ever see a national title in basketball. The only national titles I ever was thinking was women's basketball, because the women's basketball team was in that Final Four and they were battling. And Dawn Staley was, she was putting on a show. And what were those girls? Do you remember? Why their names slipped my mind? They had the tall. They were sisters.
Oh, was it Burgess?
I can't recall.
Heidi? Was it Heidi?
Something like that, I believe. Yeah. But that team was competing for national titles back there with Tennessee every year. So I think Coach Mox has us moving in the right direction. And, you have Kymora Johnson, who as a true freshman did what she did. there's only better to come. So congratulations, Kymora, on her award as the freshman with the greatest impact. And I don't know if you put this on your mantle, but you're our Cavalier Connection Spotlight Athlete of the Week. And I know this probably stands out, I would think, a little bit more than that little old UVA award they gave you, because this is the Cavalier Connection. But anyway, congratulations to her. And also, we're moving on here from there. We've got so we got Jay's 3 weekly picks. Let's pull this up on the screen. Now, some people would question. We got Jay's weekly best 3 picks. You know, we're moving up that road here.
That I saw last.
It reminds me of the when you're at the UVA football games and they have the hill drop move up. Of the game where they move somebody up closer to the field. They got burp, burp. They got the truck going around the stadium. That's what that reminds me of.
Look, every week we got Jay in his segment here with his top 3 gambling picks, and that was bobblehead Jay letting us know it's time. I did want to bring up last week he had 3 picks, one which we won't know until the end of NFL football season. We might know by like week 12 that he lost. But we'll see. And that was the Steelers.
Or that I won.
Or that he won. That was the Steelers over 8.5. He was 1-1 on his other 2 picks. He had the Suns to win, and this was his lock of the week right here. He had the Suns at over 1.5 wins in the series, and that one didn't happen. But he did also, and he's a Laker fan, but he did have Denver to win this series against the Lakers in under 5.5 games. So I'll give him that one. He was almost break-even Jeff, or break-even Jerry, or last week. But
I expect better. I expect better.
Well, the listeners expect better, and you didn't provide for them last week. If they bet $10 on each of your bets, they came out of that down a couple bucks. No, down.
It was plus 100. So the one I won was plus 100. So that means if they bet the same amount, you're even.
Okay. Well, they're even. They're not going out. They're not going to Chick-fil-A and getting a number 1 combo because they still got the amount of money they had, and they got to come back this week and bet your 3 bets. So now the question is, what do you got, Jay?
It's really difficult right now because are you going to bet baseball games? And yes, this is a live show right now, but they're not always live. So I've got to be careful what I pick. I actually wanted to, and I don't know what's going on in the Knicks game right now, but there was a bet in the Knicks game I wanted to bet. I'm not even going to say what it was because at this point it doesn't matter. So, tonight, all 3 of my bets are linked to one team.
Oh boy.
And
the Mets.
No. We're gonna find out a little sooner on these bets. So my first one, going back to the well with the Nuggets, and they play the T-Wolves. I'm gonna take the Nuggets minus 1.5 games. Now what that means is they just have to win the series in 6 games or less. So I think the T-Wolves are actually a tough team, and I think there's going to be a lot of close games. But Jamal Murray is really good at closing games, and you got Jokic. I think they're just a better team. Minnesota, yes, they beat Phoenix, and I doubted them last week. I'm going to doubt them again this week. One thing Denver has is the heart of a champion, and it's Rudy T. So, Jack, do you even know who Rudy T is? Never underestimate the heart of a champion. You don't know who said that, Jack? You don't know who Rudy T?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I do.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, he was the coach for Hakeem Olajuwon when they won back-to-back titles.
Houston Rockets.
But anyway, so I'm gonna take the Nuggets minus 1.5 games for my first bet. So that's even money. That's plus 100, Joe, for tracking purposes. Because some of these, if you win, I don't have to win them all to be on the plus side. So that's
He's got to
plus
win the
100.
right
These
ones.
folks want a Chick-fil-A #1 meal, so win them some money.
So
Yeah.
here's my next Nuggets bet is I'm looking at an exact finals matchup of Boston and Denver. And that gets me plus 200.
Is it
That's
really
a plus 200 bet to get Boston and Denver in the finals.
I thought that might be like plus 100.
Yeah, Denver's no lock, and
Denver,
Boston
Minnesota
ain't a
is
lock either. But
yeah.
But it plus 200 on that. And then for my final bet is the Nuggets to win the championship, pull off the repeat, and that is plus 275. So to break down these numbers of if for the inexperienced people out there, plus 275. If you look at it as $100 per bet, plus 275 would mean you get your 100 and then you get 275 on top of it. So you get 375 in return on that $100 bet. Not that I'm betting $100 on these.
What if you parlay
for entertainment purposes only?
What if you parlay these together? What are we at?
I don't know if ESPN Bet allows you. So I'm using ESPN Bet odds for these. And they change all the time. I just put those in about 6 o'clock on the East Coast time. So they could have changed since then. I don't know. But if you were allowed to parlay those, I would imagine that would be a handsome. Well, see, I don't know because they won't let you parlay that, Jeff. Here's why: because Denver has to be in the finals to win the championship. You know what I mean? So they're not going to let you parlay those two things.
You could think they could, like, just because they get to the championship doesn't mean they're going to win it. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm getting ready to go bet $100 on this as a parlay. I'm trying to. Yeah,
hey.
These are locks of the week, and I'm looking for more than a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
I bet 100 on each, and then 100 on the parlay. Go ahead and lay it out.
I'm with you. So at least if two of them hit, you get your money back.
Yeah, well, really, all you need is the plus 200 to hit, and you're break even.
I tell you what would make of your three, and the crazy part about this is the odds are the best. I'm more nervous about Nuggets minus 1.5 games. I think the Nuggets are going to be – I think it's going to be Denver and Boston. I think Denver is going to win it. Minnesota, I think, is really going to give Denver a series. But
yeah, they got Gobert and Kenny and Karl Anthony Towns to match up with Jokic.
That's a tough series.
Yeah,
I don't think Denver got a good draw.
The way I see it going is Denver wins their first two, they split in Minnesota, and then Denver wraps it up at home in Game 5. That's how I would see it playing out.
Well, we'll find out. I think next week we won't be giving any. I know we're not going to have the results next week, but we've got these down so we can have some yearly totals. Quickly, do want to mention fantasy baseball this past week. Any of you fantasy folks out there? It was myself versus Jay, and I remained
going in.
What's that?
What was my record going into that game?
Undefeated.
Yeah, you're right.
My record was undefeated too. I had a tie.
You were undefeated going in?
Yeah, oh yeah. And I'm still undefeated. I'm the only undefeated team in fantasy baseball.
What'd you beat me by? It was close.
It was 6-4 or 6-3-1 or something like that. Look, I haven't played fantasy baseball in about 10 years, and I just pick it up, and here we go. We're off and running.
I mean, is it just momentum from what happened in the fantasy football playoffs just a few months ago?
I do want to real quick. I want to bring up Jack.
I don't even know my record.
So Jack is Jay. What do we say on Jack's gambling picks? Bet what?
Just bet the opposite.
Well, you could bet the opposite on Jack in fantasy baseball too, because I'm pretty sure he's 0 and 6 at this stage.
I didn't have
We need to
time for
have
the
a
draft.
segment of
I've
Jack's
been
losers.
everywhere.
Jack,
Listen,
it takes 5 minutes to set the lineup for the week.
Yep.
You can go each day and set a lineup.
Yep. It tells you who the starting pitchers are.
Yeah. I look at the schedule. I see Jack on the schedule. I'm like, okay, I can put my feet up and relax. This week, Jack ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
Listen,
But
shout out to the Virginia baseball team as well. They're going into their exam break. They have a little bit of time off right now, but they ruled Navy yesterday 10-0. And the night before that, they were at the Diamond in Richmond, which I would have loved. I would have gone to that, but we had a game. My little league team, my son's team, we had a game. Pulled out the W in that one. Tight game, 9-7. Some controversial calls, but we've persevered.
I analyze them a lot differently now that I'm on the dark side. when I see stuff on TV.
Well, a quick shout out to the Western Branch Dodgers Babe Ruth team. We started out at a solid 0-6, but we're now 2-7 with 3 games to go. We've won 2 out of 3. We're getting hot at the right time. And tournament time with three more regular season games and then tournament time, and look out for the noise of the Western
Nobody
Branch
wants to see that team. They're on fire. Nobody wants to see that team.
They do not want to see the Western Branch Dodgers. We are coming out to play. We got another big one this weekend versus the Western Branch Nationals, who we actually just beat on Monday night in a close game, 8-6. So big game. Actually, the Western Branch Nationals are 1-8, and we're 2-7. So this is a big game in the standings. And I know this is of big interest to our listeners out there. But me and the coach of that Nationals team, we were talking during the game. We're like, don't we wish we could bet these games on DraftKings? I think that might be frowned upon.
The only thing that'd make it better is if you have me behind the plate or something like that, or on the base paths.
Good Lord. Yeah. Get myself thrown out by my own kid. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap us up tonight for this edition of the Cavalier Connection. Please make sure to follow us here. Let me put this up because, I'm terrible at it, but we've got your
at Talk UVA Sports on Twitter, the Cavalier Connection on everything else, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, any of the other ones, Cavalier Connection, and of course X is the big one at Talk UVA Sports.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. Also, check out thecollegehuddle.com. There you'll find your latest information on pretty much 70 plus universities and what's going on. There's articles all over the place on different schools, transfer portal, football, basketball, baseball, ladies basketball, you name it, it's up there. Each conference has their own show. Check it out on YouTube. Check the College Huddle on YouTube, and Big 10, Big 12, ACC, SEC, and then a collection of the rest of the schools. Learn some more about this, who's going where and what the lawsuits are doing. Like, who knows? And also, as we said, ACC Huddle tomorrow night at 9:00. Jay, you going to be with me?
I'm going to try. I'm not guaranteeing it right now. I'm going to try.
It'll either be Jay and myself, or it'll be myself, unless Jack wants to come aboard for the ride.
Are the enemy podcasts going to be there?
No, we'll get the enemy podcasts on. We said the bad thing about doing the ACC Huddle, these schools. I was talking with the Heel brothers last Friday on the ACC Huddle, and if you missed it, go to YouTube and check it out. It was a great show. The thing that sucks is I'm supposed to hate them guys. And they're actually really enjoy talking to them. I know we've had them on the Cavalier Connection.
Any of the other college huddlers are really great guys, really great people. So it's tough to hate on other podcasts. The people that we've worked with, have been very nice, and There really hasn't been much trash talk going around.
No, I agree, but we don't know. I said there's 70 plus, and we've talked to a few. And
Yeah, but from our experience,
the Virginia Tech guys, I did enjoy our time interacting with those guys. I'm sure they're talking a little bit crap behind the scenes or live on the air.
Hey, I don't know if y'all saw, but the Commonwealth Clash is ours officially. So that's something.
Did see that.
We when we had the Hill Brothers last week on the ACC huddle, Nathan from the Hill Brothers, he threw us a bone because we went schedule by schedule, team by team, over unders as we've done with each guest, and he got to Virginia at 4.5, and he had broke down the schedules on all these teams. And so when he got to Virginia, pretty much every time he got to Virginia, he gave that team a win.
Yeah.
And so then he gets to Virginia at 4.5, and he gave us an over. I said, "Oh, you're giving us charity because you're on the show." Because at every point you said,
I was wondering about how that came to be because
I don't remember. I think Wake Forest, when Wake Forest came up and he got to Virginia, he said, "Well, that was probably a loss." So I was like, "Oh, I think I added about 3 wins according to his predictions." But when he got to Virginia, he said, I think I can give it over." I said, "Well, I appreciate the charity. I know that's all that was because you don't really believe it."
No. Not at all.
But he did say, and we've said, somehow when Virginia and Carolina play, there's
every year it's tight, no matter what.
Give a little trouble. So anyway, tomorrow night, 9:00, ACC huddle. We're going to discuss the winners and losers in the basketball transfer portal up till now. And also, as we said, there's teams had lost guys left and right. The portal's crazy. I'm going to give my best Mike Greenberg suggestion to the NCAA, who's not wanting to listen. And it's going to be a stupid idea like Greeny does a lot of times, or way out of the box idea of ways to fix potentially some of these things. But anyway, definitely tune in tomorrow night. Thank you for tuning in tonight. And any last thoughts, guys?
Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.
Go Hoos. We'll see you next week.